Still ahead here on the afternoon news wrap. A lot of us start off the new year with resolutions like losing weight, exercising more, maybe even spending more time with family and friends. But for family law attorneys, January is what they call the busiest time of the year because for a lot of couples, New Year's resolutions surround plans for a divorce. But why the sudden spike in January? We're going to talk to a local family law attorney for his thoughts up next, along with the news of the day, weather and traffic on WDUN.
Because the best cure for a bad day is good information, it's the Afternoon News Wrap with Russell Brown on North Georgia's News Talk, WDUN.
Hey, welcome back into the Afternoon News Wrap. Happy Wednesday to you, 6/11 here on North Georgia's News Talk, getting you home into the back half of the week. I'm Russell Brown. Quite a lot of us will be starting off the new year here this week. A lot of us already have those resolutions in place for what we want to achieve in 2017 with down on weight, watching what we're eating a little bit more, maybe spending more time with our family. But there's some resolutions out there for couples especially that are quite different. According to Google Trends, the number of people turning to the internet for relationship-ending advice surges during the month of the year. But why? Jon Hedgepeth is a partner at the Metro Atlanta-based law firm of Hedgepeth, Heredia, and Rieder, and he's with us now in the Afternoon News Wrap to take a look at this trend of divorce rates spiking during the month of January. Hey, Jon, thanks a lot for joining us. Welcome into North Georgia's News Talk.
Well, thanks for having me.
Well, it's one of those things that when we talk about the new year, there's so many different aspects that people want to look at, whether it be those New Year's resolutions, maybe changes they want to make with their careers, but also something different as far as a family lifestyle is concerned. It looks like January is a very high month for divorce rates. Why is that?
Well, it's an unfortunate byproduct of a lot of togetherness, a lot of, resentment that can build up when you have this, forced community, which is, the holidays. You don't necessarily have an escape with work, and most people put this off until January so that, for a lot of reasons, one being the impact this would have on children. You certainly don't want their memory of, or the last memory of an intact family being the Christmas holidays. Parents would prefer that the children get back into their routine, and then they can go forth with their plans of divorce.
From your experience, are you seeing as well that the holidays are kind of that final nail in the coffin, so to speak, with dealing with family and things like that? Is that kind of the trend?
It seems to be. I mean, it's unfortunate for society, but again, it's a very sentimental time during the holidays, and again, you have a lot of people who just put that decision off. The resentment builds up, and they just make unfortunately a resolution in January to make that change and to file for a divorce or separation.
As far as couples that are now into the new year that have maybe been putting off a divorce or bringing up that conversation at least, is there anything that you advise them before making that final road to hoe, so to speak, when it comes to a divorce? I mean, is there anything that they need to be thinking about or keeping in mind here in January before making that ultimate decision?
Well, certainly they should think it through and think about how many aspects of their lives this will impact, but a lot of this can be driven financially. You have all your income is basically declared as of the end of the year, so it's basically a clean start. You can file jointly, which would help you, especially if you're taking a mortgage income or mortgage interest deduction or anything that would help you is by virtue of being married. And then, certainly if you're divorced during any year, you have to file separately for the year in which you're divorced. So if you're married through the end of the year, you certainly can file married and jointly, but tax planning certainly can play into this.
Jon, you see signs all the time driving down the interstate that might say, undo a divorce now, or go to call 1-800-DIVORCE, and it's a quick and easy process. In today's age, where we all as Americans and as a society want things as quickly as possible, as painless as possible, how has the divorce process changed, maybe even just here in the Metro Atlanta area over the past handful of years as far as becoming more streamlined?
Well, fortunately, mediation is a requirement in most counties. So judges don't like to hear divorce cases. They see that these are good people at their worst, and most court systems have a mediation system in which parties can settle their cases on their own terms. So, encouraging litigation, encouraging filing. I mean, that's not what I'm about. But there certainly are no shortage of divorce lawyers in the state of Georgia, especially in Atlanta. But the key is to making it as amicable as possible. I mean, any experienced divorce lawyer would know what the issues are and how to handle them. And so the key is not to foster litigation by creating animosity between the parties or basically stirring the pot. The key is to understand what the issues are, which is basically equitable division of property. There's child custody and parenting time issues. There's child support. In a lot of cases, there's alimony. And to know what those issues are and to be able to deal with them effectively and efficiently, I think, is the key.
Again, we're talking to Metro Atlanta-based family law attorney Jon Hedgepeth here on the afternoon news wrap, taking a look at the high divorce rates that come every single year here during the month of January, coming out of the holiday season. John, one of the things that I've been curious about from somebody in your expertise, we talked about this on the show last year, that there has been this rise in divorce selfies. I don't know if you know anything about this phenomenon where people are going and they're finalizing their divorces, couples are, and then they're taking selfies together and they're smiling. I don't know if that is necessarily a sign of more amicable divorces than in previous years, but it seems like when my first thought of a divorce is it's always a nasty split. It's always a terrible thing, but it seems like in today's age that it's really not, and that there are more amicable divorces. Are you seeing kind of the same thing?
Well, it depends on why the couple separated in the first place. If it's infidelity, that rarely, I would think, results in a happy selfie at the very end. And a lot of divorces, unfortunately, are driven by spite. It's the ones where people have realized that they've come to a point in the road where they are better off going their separate ways, and then that would be, as Gwyneth Paltrow and Chris Martin said, a conscious uncoupling, I suppose.
Yeah, it seems like culture has most certainly changed around divorces. More families are open to it, and hey, everybody's got their different situations, that's for sure. Jon Hedgepeth is a partner at the Metro Atlanta-based law firm of Hedgepeth, Heredia, and Rieder, and you can find out more information about them and their services at hhrfamilylaw.com. John, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks very much, Russell.